If I gave you a cold call about a recent podcast you've been in and I mentioned something very specific you said about 15 minutes deep, you'd probably assume I've listened to the whole thing, right? Well, today I'm going to show you how we go from long format videos like this webinar by Simplicate into a very personalized script that mentions something specific that they were talking about. In this case, around minute 20 of their podcast or webinar, where they point out about losing margin to clients who don't fit the agency. This is fully automated. We start with an account list with their website. We pull their YouTube channels. We scrape the YouTube videos. We scrape the transcripts. We have AI write an opening line. We add a few sentences for our campaigns. We find people at the company. And then from there, we start a campaign either through email on scale or through cold calling when we want to be a bit more specific and want to make sure that they actually receive our messaging. It is basically a very personalized opening line that goes way, way further than your standard. I saw that you're hiring for a new sales manager, or I've seen that you've been working at this company for 2+ years, or whatever. It's very overdone, these basic signals, in my opinion. And yeah, people, email fatigue is a real thing. People are getting tired of receiving these messages. So, what else can you do than be more creative and run campaigns like this one? In this example, we're doing this all with Clay and Apify. That's basically all you're gonna need. If you do not have Clay, you can also build this yourself in N8N, make whatever. We've been doing this inside of N8N as well ourselves, but for this example, it's very easy to set up in Clay. We've connected Clay with basically any tool we are using, so it is just a very easy kind of spreadsheet that we're using. But again, you do not need a Clay subscription if you want to go ahead and use this. You might as well just do it inside of N8N yourself. All right, so inside of Clay, we are starting with a company list with a few companies, their websites, however many you'd like. We're using AI to pull their YouTube channels. You might as well do this manually, but if you're going to do this on scale, you again, very easy to do this with AI. Then, based on these YouTube channels, we are running an Apify actor called the YouTube scraper, where based on a JSON, we are scraping these YouTube channels and we are pulling some recent videos with the transcripts of these videos. Inside of Apify, that looks like this. Let me go ahead and restore the example input so you can see how this works for yourself. So we're not going to use search terms because we are going to pull YouTube videos from the channel URLs. By the way, if you've never used Apify, I highly recommend checking it out. In this case, I'm even doing it on my free account with a company account as well. But for the example, I'm going to show you how to do it on a free account because this costs you about $4 per 1,000 videos. You get $5 per month on a starter plan, a free account in Apify. So you can do this for 1,000 videos without even paying in Apify. It's crazy. All right, maximum videos per search term, just put 5 to 10 or however many you like, but typically this should be enough. Direct URLs, I'm just gonna add this one for the example. So we have something pulling up in the JSON later. Download YouTube transcript, make sure to turn this on. Because right now it's gonna take the subtitles. As you can see here, they're in Dutch because I am Dutch, as you might have heard by my accent. It's gonna pull the subtitles that are showing up everywhere throughout the video. And this is what we're gonna have AI analyze and write an outreach message based on. We're keeping the subtitle language in English. I'm not touching this because from experience we know that in this case the Dutch translation is less accurate than the auto-translated English version. Um, and again, if you want to do native outreach, we're also doing that in, for example, Germany, where we would just have AI translate it back into German and hand that script over to our cold callers there. Then filters, sorting order. Upload date is a nice one because it's just gonna pull the newest videos, which are typically it's a bit more relevant. You can also do it by view count or whatever you like. Date filter, I'm not gonna touch it for this specific example, but later I'm gonna change it to a signal-based table where I'm gonna show you how to do this month by month and basically just pull videos. And whenever something very specific is mentioned, you would get notified and you can do outreach based on that. So video length over 20 minutes is typically what we do because we just pull more data and it seems more special when you've been watching 50 minutes of a podcast over a 1 minute video. Features, we're basically not going to touch it. Date range, same thing. You can add a date range if you want, say max 30 days, but I'm going to show you how to do that later. Then when we have everything here, we're basically just going to copy paste the JSON, go back into our clay table. Here on the right, you would add enrichment, add the run Apify actor. Inside of the run Apify actor, you go ahead and select the YouTube scraper. If it's not showing up for you, you might need to run it once here. Go back, refresh fields, add the YouTube scraper. Go in here. Oops. Go in here and paste the YouTube, the JSON. Here you just change the YouTube URL. So in your case, this would be the YouTube URL. You just go out of there, /JSON, and we add the YouTube URLs we found in the third column here. Hit save and run. It's gonna run. You get the results. Then the next part, we are using Claude, but you can use Gemini as well because it has a bit larger context window in some models. In my case, I'm using Claude because I feel like it's a bit better in personalizing the messaging and it works pretty well. So what Claude is basically doing, it's going through all the subtitles that we've scraped. So in the subtitles, it's basically the transcript with the time. And based on that, it is writing a personalized message on what we've heard, or in this case, what AI read in the messaging. I do have to say, if you're going to do this, Clay does have a pretty limited text window, so the subtitles might not always be pulled in there. Just give it some thought. You can save it on a Google Sheet or a different database where you want to store the subtitles. And then through an HTTP API, you can pull the data from there. It's a bit more accurate. We're typically doing that, but it might get a bit too complex to do it in this video. So in this case, I've just added the enrichment AI to go inside the Apify actor results, go through all of them, find the most recent podcast, webinar, long format video that we have subtitles for, and base outreach on. A nice example would be Simplicate here, where we are saying we've seen their website, and around minute 20, their point about losing margin to clients who don't fit your agency perfectly really hit home. Then from there, I've added a specific Nord 50 hook. So this is our company. I'm basically just asking AI to write a personalized message that adds in onto the first thing that we've seen. So from here, we have no outreach message, but adding something like that usually means the sales process is still pulling in a few wrong fit clients, which quietly eats margin and slows growth at the same time. It gets a lot more relevant if we are doing it this way. So now, very basic example, but we already have a pretty nice script, and you can use this in your cold calling campaigns. You can also just use this when you can use this in your email campaigns and do it on scale. Like here, right now, I'm using the Find People at Company through Prospeo. Very easy to set up as well. If you have an account there, use your API. If not, you can just pay the Clay credits. It's not expensive. Their website, name, founder, C-suite, whatever, whichever person you want to reach out to. And then again, email Prospeo. find their work email, you just run this one. But you can also, as you might have seen, find their mobile number. So just pull their LinkedIn profile. A nice addition you might want to add here is, in this case, we found 25 people. Just use a very GPT 5.1 mini or whatever, like a cheap enrichment to go through all people and basically qualify which person is the most relevant to reach out to for your company. Just pull 2 or 3 people so you can have a fallback option if you don't find a mobile number for the first one. You try it for the second and the third. Basically, that's it. That's how we do outreach on a large scale. As mentioned, I'd also quickly show you how you can do this signal based. So in this case, we have a table where we go into table settings and we run columns on a schedule, and we want to run this monthly. So you would go ahead and save changes here. Basically the same thing, we have an Apify actor, but inside the Apify actor, one thing changes. If we go inside of Apify and we go back into the form, we add a date range. So relative, I would just go ahead and pick 30 days. You can do it however often you want. Typically, we're doing it 30 days because companies are not posting that many webinars or podcasts. And even if it's like 20 days old, it's still pretty relevant to reach out to. So inside of your JSON, it's going to say oldest post date 30 days. You would go ahead again, put it in here. Then when we go in the next AI enrichment, I've basically just added a very basic qualification one where I'm asking AI to go through everything that's found. It's in Dutch here, but it's basically just checking if something relevant has been found for our company. So something relevant in this case, what we are using is whenever a company mentions something like, I've seen one, I think it's this one or not. Yeah. So this one is in Dutch. It's basically mentioning that there's going to be a bit of a disrupt in payment systems, where Ideal, which is the main Dutch payment system, is going to transfer to the European payment system. So this is a bit of a disruption inside of a lot of industries, and it's something that this company Molly solves or helps with. So in this case, this would be a very specific thing that they're saying that this company can use for their outreach to new companies. So this is something that we want our cold callers to give a sales manager within Molly a call and ask like, hey, are you already doing outreach on this? I've been watching your video. You said this and this around minute 5 to 7. You're mentioning this and this, very specific things. I feel like this is a very strong signal for your company to do outreach on. Like your potential client market has just became so much wider. It also happens, for example, for IT companies. Whenever a big, large scale hack is going around or data leaks, it's very helpful for IT companies to do outreach on. So basically, kind of things that disruptions inside of their industry that they're mentioning and that they are talking about in their webinar or e-learning that they want to inform clients about. We're going to tell them like, hey, we can help you put this news in front of thousands of potential clients, if not more, instead of just doing it through a webinar or whatever. So here, very easy qualification. If you go through, what I would do here is add an enrichment. And in this case, we can use the send for approval to Slack message, Slack channel, which basically we just pull a channel, add a message, only run if commercial video equals true. So the qualification is true. And then based on this, we are reaching out to them. We're getting an approve or deny message inside of Slack. We can say, okay, approve, I want to reach out to them. So move it to a cold caller, deny, we don't want to reach out to them or put them on a block list. If you've done this for a company, like you don't want to do this in the next month, maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't want to do that, very easy trick to add companies to your block list is send table data. Through send table data, we're going to create, or I've already created one. Normally you would create one. Previously contacted our block list. We're just sending everything and only run if, let's see, this one equals true. And why? Yeah, so now it should work. If we hit save and run, it's gonna push these people that we've reached out to potentially to our block list. Yep. Then on the block list here for the run Apify actor, you could add oh no, actually, let me go back here on the right, add enrichment, look up multiple rows, select the table we are using here, our block list, target company equals company. If we run it now, we have records here. Boom, number of records. So this is found on our block list. Inside of here, I would just go, do not run if has results. Only run if is empty. Generate the formula. Maybe it was already working. If we would run it now again, yeah, as you can see on new tables, it's only gonna run again when it's found relevant ones. It's gonna try it again, see if something specific. It's gonna push it. So each new rerun, you're not gonna waste credits or AI tokens or Apify dollars on companies you've already reached out to or you've put on your block list. And yeah, you likely get the point. You can play around with this a lot. Same here. You could also do it here if you want to continuously add things and you also want to add an AI qualification for your large scale table. You also could just add smart lead or instant lead, the add lead to campaign. You just add them to your campaign and then you would allow duplicates. You would disallow this, so keep this off. So it's not going to add duplicate leads to your campaign. So if you add new people and there are some duplicates, it's not going to add the same people. All right. That is basically it. A very easy example on how to combine Clay and Apify and do outreach based on YouTube videos. If you do have any questions, do not hesitate. Leave them in the comments. Shoot me a DM on LinkedIn, whatever. Happy to answer them. Enjoy the rest of your day.